Hi guys, as you can see we're in Logic and today we're looking at iZotope Neutron 2 and the gate function. We're going to look at how you can shape and filter a sound with a gate, and in this instance we're just going to look at working on a snare drum, but remember that you can work on just about any sound and shape it into your own thing using this tool. So if you haven't used Neutron 2, across the top section here we have 6 individual plugins that change the GUI depending on what's selected. The one surrounded by orange is the one that we're looking at. We'll activate the gate here, and as you can see we in fact have a multi-band gate. This allows us to have 3 different elements being gated. Across the top is something we may be familiar to see with something like a compressor. As we can see, it's working in reverse for a gate. If we solo just the snare drum that it's functioning on, we can see how it's currently working. At the moment, we just have the red band activated, and when a single band is active, it covers the full frequency spectrum. Based on the ratio here, we can see that reduction is taking effect and that our threshold isn't being passed. Ratio of 8:1 reduces by 80 decibels when the threshold isn't being passed. When it is, we can see that it turns off. How quickly again it then takes control is dependent on its attack and release settings here. We can have it so it almost never comes back in, although it's incredibly sharp and quick. Bring the threshold up much higher with this incredibly quick release and fast attack. We'll get a very short part of the snare. We can exaggerate this. So we're literally just getting the transient. The stuttering effect comes from the fact that when the snare reverberates, it again exceeds the threshold within this millisecond range. We can adjust this to get just the impact. By having this function multi-band, and we can activate another band, we'll see now that we've split the frequency area. If we separate this to around the 400 Hz, we'll have the body of the snare in the red and the rest in the green. We can use this to control them individually. This means we can control the gated performance of different parts of the snare. So now let's allow the body to get through much more than the top. Or alternatively, let's take the body of the snare and allow the top to really bring itself out. In addition, we can use different bands from other instances of Neutron to control how the gate functions. Let's take the top end of the snare here, and we'll set a sidechain to come in from another piece of audio. In this instance, we'll use our fake snare. Our fake snare is a burst of white noise designed to replace some of the high content here. As you can hear, this now triggers the top end of the snare. We can in fact take the top of the snare away entirely, or control it triggered by white noise. Using these different parameters and techniques, we can shape a wide variety of sounds and cut away different areas while retaining transients in other areas. This is especially useful for build-ups and design of sound. So by automating parameters, we can have it so that the top of the snare would build in over time. Especially useful for things like build-ups and snare rolls. This has been a deep dive into the Neutron 2 gate. I hope it's been helpful for you, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.